Hello, everyone, and welcome to Life of Virtue. Today, we're going to talk to you about the conversion process and what that looks like, the steps necessary that we at least did, or I don't know if it's for everyone, but we're going to talk about those things. And before we do that, I was going to ask you to answer, do you have to convert to be okay with God?
Well, that's a great question, and the answer is no. That's the short answer. God doesn't expect everyone to do exactly the same thing. God gave each group a particular responsibility and place in this world. So for the Jew, he adopted as sons, meaning he chose them to give a certain message to the world and to behave in a particular way, and to follow the 613 laws that are found in the Torah. The non-Jew also has a place in this world and to do justice in many different things, but they fall under the 7 Noahide laws categories. And, those 7 laws are not really 7 laws singularly. They are 7 groups of laws or 7 categories of laws. So it is not like in other religions where not accepting that particular religion or all the set rules of the religion will not get you salvation as thought by other religions. The process of salvation or the process of redemption and all those things are much more different in the Jewish world.
For sure.
Right. And that's a whole nother video, by the way. But just to simplify it, no, you don't have to become Jewish. You follow the 7 categories of laws that are found in Genesis that are given to Noah. And a Jew must follow the 613 commandments that are given in the Torah. So that being said, we do not proselytize. So it's not like we're going after people telling them that they must convert to Judaism. Now, what we would like is for example, for people to give up any type of idolatry, right? And serve God in the way that they're meant to serve God. And that is Judaism for the non-Jew. So Judaism for the Jew is the 613 commandments. Judaism for the non-Jew is what has been given to the non-Jew.
That's what we would like. And that's what Hashem would like.
That's what Hashem would like. Thank you.
But it's funny because I remember in our process many years ago, people telling us you don't have to convert. You can just stick to the Noahide laws. And that's such a disaster for us because there is no Noahide known community that we can take proper steps to doing, like moving into the community and stuff like that. That doesn't exist. So we would be loners. And that was just not going to...
Yeah, that was not going to be
no, and for many of you, I'm sure. So,
right.
Go ahead and explain the steps necessary.
Okay. But you brought a good point, though, that people that do not have a community, let's say, if they were to leave their old ways and they were to join Judaism for the non-Jew, let's say, there's not a congregation or a community for them to follow all these things. So I did write 4 steps for the conversion process. And the first one is finding a community. Now, what was your experience trying to find a community? Or how important was for you to find a community, actually? Let's say that.
It was very important because after several years of learning at home on our own, I just felt like if we didn't find a community to join and to congregate with and become a part of a people with, that I would just find myself going back to my old ways, which was something I dreaded because I did not want to go back to church or to any other systems of what we left behind. And so it was crucial for the development of our children and our sake to find a community that was fitting for us. So I remember calling around and looking for a place for us to fit in and join. So
right, not having a community is detrimental to one's spiritual growth, and not just the grown-up spiritual growth, but the kid's spiritual growth.
Right.
It is of utmost importance. Basically, one should call around, find out what is the closest Jewish community, or one that one is able to eventually move into. Okay, which is, we'll talk about that later. But it has to be a potential place that you could see yourself, let's say, growing spiritually or growing with your children, or in other aspects. It would be okay if, let's say, a person could see it just as a place to do the conversion process and then move on to another place, like in the meantime. For us, I thought it was a better option to do all of it in the same community, finding a community that we were going to move in one time, that we felt like we connected, that our children connected, that we felt like we can grow. Okay, so the second one would be finding a sponsoring rabbi. So once you see the community that you want to be in, that is nearby or is convenient to be able to move or whatever, make sure that the rabbi is a rabbi that's going to be able to sponsor you. Because for the conversion process, you must have a sponsoring rabbi. The rabbi preferably is someone that, takes Torah very seriously, that when you talk, you feel like, you can grow with this rabbi and learn from this rabbi. This rabbi cares about your growth as well. So all these things are, I would say, important.
Another thing that comes to mind is if the rabbi says, I am not a sponsoring rabbi, you can ask, well, can you give me any suggestions of any rabbis that are? Because, they know each other. Us Jews know each other, and we know people. So it's like, okay, I'm not a sponsoring rabbi, but I got someone that, and so don't be afraid to ask, if he's not a sponsoring rabbi.
Very good point. That's a very good point. Because not all rabbis are sponsoring rabbis.
Right.
There are rabbis that move into the area for a particular purpose, and they do not want to sponsor anyone, or can't for whatever reason. Let's say that they're not in the position to be able to do that, or can't give you the time to teach you things, the process of growing into Judaism. So it's not always that they don't want to. It's sometimes they just can't give you that time. And there are times that they don't want to. So you have to find a rabbi that you can grow with, that your family can grow with.
Okay, so everything lines up. You find a community, you get a sponsoring rabbi, and now what's next?
The third one is you speak to the Beis Din. So now you have found a community. You got a rabbi. You speak to the Beis Din. The Beis Din is going to ask you if you found the community and if you found a sponsoring rabbi.
And they'll want to know who he is.
They want to know who he is. It has to be one of those rabbis that are respected.
Yeah, they want to make sure he's reputable.
A reputable rabbi. Thank you. That's the proper word. It's a reputable rabbi. And they will give you a syllabus. They will give you a list of expectations, things to look out for. And they're not looking to try to coerce you or convince you into joining the Jewish people or Judaism.
Right. So if you get a syllabus that's 10 pages long, that's pretty normal. They want you to know what to expect and what to learn and what to look for in your learning process. So it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to learn. How am I going to read 50 books? And don't look at that as a intimidation in any sort. There is a lot of material to cover to make sure that when you do show up on that beautiful day to do your mikvah, that you know exactly what and who you are becoming. And so don't let a list of books intimidate you. Look at it as an opportunity to be a student and to learn and grow in why you want to be a Jew. And, it's funny because you might just end up saying, this is not for me.
Right.
I thought it was. I'm glad they gave me this, window of opportunity to figure out that this is not for me. Or you take it, you buckle up your seatbelt and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because I remember one of the rabbis from the Beis Din, gave me a story about this particular person who had gone through the whole process, had moved, and when they were like maybe closer to the end, they said, Rabbi, thank you for the time. This is not for me. I changed my mind. And, no harm, no foul.
Right. It happens.
It happens.
I think you said this earlier, being Jewish is not for everyone.
It is not. Mm-hmm. It is not for everyone. But those who are willing to embrace the Jewish faith and take up on the 613 laws, then it's a blessing as well.
All right. So we got our syllabus. We have everything, all those 3 steps. And then
you move to the community. So once you have found a community and you have the sponsoring rabbi and you spoke to the Beis Din and everything is being squared away, then you move to the community. The reason why I put that last is because it is the hardest part of the whole process.
Yeah, and you don't want to uproot your family to a community without knowing, I didn't know I had such a big syllabus and a list of expectations, and I just moved my family over here and whatever. So it's like once you do all those other steps, definitely that is the biggest and hardest one.
Right. Now, if you're single and you're willing to just move and try it out because this is something that you believe is true and you're willing to do it, but you want to live it, first, and you want to hurry up and find a place, then that's okay.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
But moving your whole family, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Especially when you can't afford it. And knowing that you're putting, like we know firsthand, being Jewish is not cheap. There's a lot of expenses. Eating kosher is just right there. That right there is like, it's a very expensive lifestyle. But it's the best decision we ever made for ourselves personally and for our children. But yes.
Yes. And people ask us, like, why would you, convert to Judaism if you can, stay a Noahide and be okay with God? Mm-hmm. Well, for us, it wasn't even an option for us.
No.
Meaning, we wanted the community aspect. Mm-hmm. We wanted our children to grow up in the Jewish culture, following the Torah, following the commandments. It's very beautiful.
That was big to us too, because we already had raised other children, because we have an older set of children and a younger set of children. We'll maybe make a video about that.
Yeah.
But seeing how our society is just so strong, the influence is so strong, and it's really hard on the children to be who they are. And I remember our children like having to explain why we don't eat certain things, why we don't do certain things on Saturdays, why we can't go at certain events, and it was very, very hard. And they're inspiring to me to see, like, wow, like even though it was such a strong pull, they would still be true to who they were, and where they're, the boys wearing their tzitzit and just being proud of, practicing Judaism. This is prior to our conversion. So still living as Jews with that constant pull at them. It's inspiring.
Yes.
They were very brave.
Yes.
But I would never want to do that again. So now that we have 5 younger children, we want to make sure that they are in that culture of, of our people, of our community, because it's a beautiful thing that we have experienced to see our children thriving with other Jewish children and not having to explain anything because we are all doing the same thing. So it's like being in the same boat makes a huge difference.
Yes. And not to mention that even I would say I personally feel closer to God, meaning changing my pattern of behavior, my pattern of, and when I say behavior, I don't mean whether I have bad or good behavior. I mean throughout the day, just the things that I would do, on a regular, and just changing it to making sure that I pray 3 times a day, that I'm studying the Torah.
Make sure you don't have time for anything else.
Yeah, make sure. But those things are very meaningful, and those things are life changing. I mean, if you allow it, if you're just doing it just to doing it, this is the wrong thing. I wouldn't recommend it.
Right.
But if you're doing it because you want to get closer to Hashem, you aspire to know what it is that you're doing every second of the day and making it meaningful to Hashem every second of the day, the Torah does that.
Mhm.
So anyway, those were the 4 steps that we had. Is there anything that you might want to say? Anything?
Nope, those are the 4 steps.
All right.
Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.
Thank you. Bye-bye.